Let's make sure that everything is working. Okay, we have microphone, we have Discord, we have game audio, we have everything. Welcome one and all to the last run of the marathon, Super Metroid Reverse Boss Order. I've got Kevnastics here to introduce the run and his commentators.
Hi everybody, I'm Kevnastics, and here with me is Kip and Professor School, and we're going to do some Super Metroid Reverse Boss Order. So I hope everybody's ready for a super volatile route, and I'm super proud to be joined by both Kip and Professor School, two incredible Super Metroid runners. I've done comms with them, I've raced with them. I'm just really excited to be here, and without further ado, Kip or Prof, does somebody want to count me down, and then I'll get going. We can talk about this category.
Yeah, go ahead, Prof.
Let's go, Kev. All right, folks, let's go. I'm Professor School, joined here by Kip. Let's give a lot of love to Kev. Kev, here's your countdown. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go RBO, baby. Let's do it. Kip, I'm hyped for this RBO race, or this RBO showcase here for this charity marathon. This has got to be up there for one of my favorite categories, both to watch, to commentate, and to play. Love me some RBO, and you're no stranger to the category.
Yes, I am with you on that, Professor. I'm a big fan of RBO. I'm really excited to watch tonight's run. Always a pleasure to watch someone take on the monumental effort required to do an RBO run. So I'm really excited for Kev to do this, and big props to him for being willing to put this on the line for a showcase. So this is going to be great.
Yeah, this category is no joke. I was actually just chatting with Zenny about this earlier. I've been playing GT Classic in this tournament, and I was mentioning to Zenny, like, I got to go back to RBO. I got unfinished business there. His response was so great. He said, you know what, Prof? We all have unfinished business with RBO. Once you run this category, there's always something that you want to go back and take care of. So I feel like RBO is one of these cruel mistresses. It can always be really hard on you. It can be very volatile, but it can also be extremely rewarding when you nail some of these really incredible strats for this reverse boss order run. So I'm really hyped for this.
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody out there, first of all, if you are familiar with Super Metroid speedrunning and you're familiar with RBO, you'll get a lot out of this just because it's fun to watch. But anybody out there who maybe is a little less familiar, I think you're in for a real treat. Super Metroid RBO is actually a category that still uses our rule set for no major glitches, which is, I think, a little unique in terms of kind of retro games. A lot of times if you are doing a reverse boss order type of category, it usually requires some kind of like funky messing with things, but Super Metroid is designed in a way where you can legitimately kill Ridley first without breaking any kind of serious rules. So he's going to be going down there without any suits on, so he's going to be taking heat damage in every single room throughout Lower Norfair, having to fight Ridley and still getting out. And the cool thing about it is he's going to be able to do it using some actual normal game mechanics. Professor, do you want to maybe tell the audience a little bit about some of the things we'll be looking at in this category?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, which is really remarkable about how RBO is possible, is that crystal flash technique. And so this is something that you actually see in the game screen. There's like a cutscene that the game plays for you after you've beaten it for the first time, and it shows Samus doing this wild tech where all of a sudden she lays a power bomb, she's surrounded by this crazy crystal flash, and then all of a sudden it drains a bunch of her missiles, super missiles, and power bombs, 10 of each of them, including the power bomb she laid, and then if she's under 50 health with empty reserves, it refills all of her health back to full. So when you're talking about taking damage every frame and being able to spare some of your ammo to regain all of your health, that's exactly a recipe for success here in the reverse boss order category. And I think it was actually in one of the Nintendo Power magazines that the people at Nintendo revealed the exact input was required to actually get that crystal flash technique. So this is absolutely intended. Like Kip said, this is a no major glitches, one of our major 4 categories in the Super Metroid speedrunning community, and that
yes,
really what allows us to do this, have this run work. Is that about right, Kip?
Yeah, my assumption is that the folks at the 1-900 Nintendo hotline, someone finally called in and they sent out the answer, and they were like, "Well, now that somebody knows the answer, before they tell the world, we gotta publish it Nintendo Power." So, whoever paid that $2.99 per minute or whatever it is, thank you.
I often wonder about that, Kip. I really do, because I know that when I was a kid, I remember bringing this game home from the store in 1994 when it first dropped, and I remember beating the game and seeing that crystal flash and not knowing what it was, and I definitely sat around messing with button combos to try to figure out. I never did. I needed to get the info from the magazine, but I'm sure someone must have figured it out. They just tried every possible combination,
Yeah, probably so. I mean, in a lot of ways, I guess. For those of us that sat around trying to figure out Mortal Kombat fatalities, probably something similar to figuring out the Crystal Flash. But one thing you're going to see Kev doing here, which I'm a big fan of, especially in like relay situations or showcase situations, is he's actually going to go straight back down to Blue Brinstar and grab this energy tank that's up here in the ceiling, which is not only going to help him in the long run in terms of Lower Norfair, but it's actually going to help him in the sort of item collection portion of this run. There's going to be he's going to be doing a route that goes into Upper Norfair twice, and so or at least it's a multiple Upper Norfair sequence. But the first time that he gets there, he's not really going to be able to have super duper extensive amounts of energy. So this is going to be really helpful for those initial hell runs.
Hey, can I stop y'all for just a sec?
Sure.
I want to point out that I got the down back to the Awakening missiles, and I have been missing that for like weeks on end. So I popped off really quick on that, and I'm feeling good now after that botched series. So let's go.
Nothing like a good strat execution to make you feel in rhythm, right?
Yeah, so Kev is running this reverse boss order. We're going to be taking a lot of safeties here. Kev's got a pretty good time. 124.02 is the most recent one I see posted here. I remember with Kev getting that. I was really excited about it back in February. And I got to say, one of the things about these two major categories, the low percent and the RBO, is if you compare those to our other two major categories, any percent and 100%, way, way, way fewer times in the leaderboards. So really big respect to anyone running RBO, because you've got more than 1,000 runs between our two leaderboards right now in any percent, and about half that many in Hundo. You've got like 100 people who've posted times for RBO. This is no joke, and it really takes a committed Super Metroid speedrunner to learn all the tech. You have to have a plan for every single room in this run. You cannot wing this category. It will beat you to pieces. So there's a really high level of skill and execution, but also dedication necessary to make this kind of a run work, especially in under an hour and a half for a PB. I think that's pretty excellent.
Yeah, I think RBO is one of those categories. I've kind of mentioned this multiple times on different commentaries over the years, but one of my favorite things about Super Metroid is there's a very legitimate play style and tech difference between all the major categories. So, you're not just like playing the same exact way or doing the same strats all the time. And RBO is one of those categories that, certainly not required. It's not like you have to learn to do an RBO run, if you're going to get interested in Super Metroid. But it is one of those sort of, I would call like a milestone in your speedrunning approach to Super Metroid. Like if you can even just beat it one time, it's like a badge of honor. So as Professor pointed out, it's not an easy thing to do. It requires a lot of unique tech, but it's also a very rewarding category. I think literally every time I just complete one, I feel pretty good about it.
Fun fact, when I started running Super Metroid and I kind of heard about reverse boss order, I was a long way from ever running it. I never thought this category would be one that I would be able to complete. But then after playing for about a little over a year, I decided to give it a shot and really grind it out and learn the skills. And there has been no greater feeling in any category than completing RBO.
It's a tough one. But yeah, Professor School, we're on our way to Green Brinstar. I think most people agree Green Brinstar has an excellent musical track in it. But tell us a little bit about what Kev's going to be doing in this section. We're actually going to see Green Brinstar more than once.
Yeah, most of the runners, the way they're going to approach this is going through this incredible soundtrack of Green Brinstar a couple of times. We're going to be picking up some of these safety items. Well, they're not even safeties. These are required items at this point. Some of these items we're picking up. Get this reserve tank so we can pop off some extra energy, pick up this set of super missiles here, and we're going to go through Green Brinstar a number of times to pick up all sorts of ammo so we can crystal flash, so we have enough supers to take care of Ridley. 30 supers will do the trick. You don't have to worry about any beam shots or any other X-Factor tech or anything like that. And obviously getting a sufficient number of E-tanks to make that lower Norfair suitless hell run much more survivable.
Most certainly. And one of the pieces of tech that Kev used a little bit earlier, and he'll use it multiple times in the run, is that mock ball. Very cool. I remember the first time I saw someone do one, and I didn't know much about Super Metroid speedrunning. I was just like, oh my god, what just happened? And then I tried to like do it myself without like understanding how it worked, and I could never get it. But it's definitely a cool piece of tech. But yeah, Kev is going to be going through actually several parts of the game, several portions of the map multiple times. This kind of run really requires, you know, a lot of equipment because of the sort of demands not only on your energy, but by extension on the amount of time that you can basically spend and still survive against Ridley, which is going to require us to get 30 supers before going down to Ridley, because supers do double damage against Ridley. So unless I'm misremembering, I'm pretty confident that Kev is going to collect 30 supers prior to going to Lower Norfair, but I believe he's going to grab 2 of those 6 packs from Meridia. So we'll be getting some more supers back in Green Brinstar, and then some in Meridia as well, before we trek it down into Lower Norfair.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty safe today. I got a bunch of saves that I'm going to take, and I've got some backups just in case anything goes wrong. I did get some crappy luck from some drops. Usually I like to have a tiny bit in my reserves right here, because I don't like farming before I go to... I don't like farming in that Meridia area before I go down to Upper Norfair, so I'm going to farm the Sovas and hope that they give me some good luck in and out of high jump boots. And I'll take a safety save there just for some of these early hell runs. I'm not really nervous about these hell runs, but some just happens when you do marathons or you do races, and it's just the game does not play the same way as when you're just casually streaming.
Most certainly. You know, speaking of which, one thing I actually like about this category a lot, it's kind of a small nuance thing, but, you know, in Hundo, you get the reserve tanks, but, like, you know, most people are probably not going to need to utilize them very much, but I feel like reserves really shine in this category. The way that they operate is actually really cool. I'm a big fan of the fact that there are energy tanks that do one thing and then reserves that serve a similar function but actually kind of engage with the environment a different way with the heat damage. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with both pause abuse and using reserves, even sparingly, not like letting them pop all at the same time, but actually switching your reserves to manual. Right now you can look up at Kev's screen, you can see that there's that gold auto, which is indicating that there's reserves and that there's at least something in them. But a lot of times you'll actually see runners intentionally turn off the automatic function there, go into their menu, and actually manually put in just some of their reserves and not pop off all of it. And this way you save some of your reserves for later, but you can also control, you know, if you're close to zero health, just put enough back in there to survive a particular room, and then you can move on from there. So there's really a lot of tech that you can do here to manipulate things in your favor. I think that's really neat. One of the cool parts about RBO.
Most certainly. And for those of you, again, that might be, you know, somewhat unfamiliar with RBO, we talked earlier about that crystal flash that Kev will be using to refill his energy when he's down doing those hell runs. And the cool thing is not only will they refill your regular energy tanks, but they will also max out your reserves as well.
All right, here we go. We're entering our first hell run here of the route. We're gonna see a couple of these. This is the first one through Upper Norfair here. Kev's gonna be trying to make it through to the safety on the other side here of the aptly named Bubble Mountain.
Really? Every time I wanted an energy drop, I got a missile. So we're gonna have to farm a little bit here before Batcave, unfortunately.
Well, do I got time to talk about the marathon while you farm?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for stopping by for Super Metroid. This is Sineth, and I just want to quickly remind everyone why we're here. So we are raising money for an organization named One Tree Planted. Every single dollar you donate goes towards planting one tree somewhere in the world. So you want to make sure that you jump on that. We're trying to change our climate crisis and make it so that we can all live on this globe. One Tree Planted is, of course, a 501c3 nonprofit on a mission to make it simple for anyone to help the environment by planting trees. You can go ahead and donate at the website address that you see in the chat right now, donate.green-gaming.org, and that leads right to the Tiltify page.
I'm actually surprised at how little farming I had to do, and handled that Batcave really well, actually. Batcave is a really scary room in this run.
Yeah, thank you, Seneth. Appreciate the info, and definitely a worthy cause. And yeah, Kev, you did a wonderful job of getting up in the Batcave there, man. That was that could have been a little bit dicey, and you handled it real well. So now we get to see the last moments of non-speed booster movement that we have in the game. Well, although I guess I should say technically, when you're in Meridia, suitless, you can't activate the speed booster there, but we now have the speed booster, and we will be going very quickly through these long hallways.
Actually, one thing I really love about my route, which I don't know if I am going to change it anytime soon and go for a faster time, because I like the juxtaposition between the really calm, quiet moments and then these like hell run, these really like, really wild moments. I think there's a really good pace when you do a double Meridia. And I happen to really enjoy Suitless Meridia, so there's that kind of fun aspect of it as well. And again, thank you, Sineth, and everybody involved here for inviting me to do this and setting it all up. It's really, really cool. And all right, back to the Kip and Prof.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, go ahead, Prof.
Yep, sorry. Okay. No, I was going to agree just the same as you were about to. There's sort of this like the rising and falling of the emotions and the points of stress in the reverse boss order run. I think the only other time when my heart races as much as when I'm running RBO is maybe if I'm like, on pace after a long grind in Turian, and I just know that I have to survive the escape or something like that to hold on to a PB. But otherwise, nothing quite compares to these hell runs and just, watching that health tick down every frame and knowing, we all set up these queues as speedrunners. We know, how much ammo do we need? What's my health management? And you get a sense very quickly, as you run a category like this. All right, I took that hit from that Sova. That's 10 damage down. My health is looking a little low, and you can start to sense if things are getting a little bit tight. And I think that's really when things can get really, really intense in this particular run, like really in no other.
It's kind of funny because I do agree, but I also still feel like no matter where you are in an RBO run, there's still danger lurking, because I would explain it this way. When you're doing hell runs, it's like being chased by a tiger. Like you can hear it behind you and it's coming and you're trying to run away from it. And then in Meridia, even though the music's real soothing and you're going a lot slower, it's like you're swimming in water where an alligator's lurking, because everything in Meridia, even though you can, dodge most things fairly easily, if you make a mistake, they hit for so much energy. Like, Kev, I'm sure you've experienced this, Prof, too. I think I've died to crabs in Meridia. I've died to fish in Meridia. I've died to Mama Turtle in Meridia. So there's no place in this run where you can be completely safe from danger.
I died to an ouch in Meridia the other day, going to get water in the whole supers, and that was like, I don't know, 30 plus minutes into the run, and I'm like, I got enough health to do this. I can pull this off. Nope.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
let me try to explain something just real quick. The reason that the numbers get so out of whack. Oh, by the way, we're heading into Croc, which is everyone's favorite creature in Super Metroid. But one thing everybody has to remember: not only is Kev going to be taking constant heat damage, but we were just kind of making a reference to how much damage the enemies are going to do. That's because when you're playing through the game in a normal speed run or even like a casually, by the time you get the gravity suit, you're really only taking like 25% damage from what things normally do. And even with gravity suit, like crabs will do 30 damage. Well, if they do 4 times that amount to the power suit, that's over an energy tank. Like you'll run into a crab and lose more than an energy tank, right? So things do a lot of damage when you don't have that very gravity suit.
So I do want to mention that I have a tiny bit of lag every now and again. It's not all the time, so kind of hacking me up a little bit here. Just kind of mention that, but I think it'll be fine.
Should be all right. No worries, Kev. I'm looking over the speed Super Metroid Speed Wiki right now, just to see if there's anything that hits harder than the crabs for 120. There's really not that much. There's some key hunters that do 200. Mama Turtle, Kit mentioned before, she'll hit you for 200 if you're just in the power suit by itself. The ouch will hit for 100, but man, you're not kidding, Kit. Everything down there just hits like an absolute truck, and not to mention like getting stuck in the sand, and those, the sand in Coliseum there is just loaded up with spikes in the bottom, and it can be really difficult to get out. Meridia has a chiller vibe, it might appear on the surface, but it's got every set of teeth that you can imagine that's comparable to Norfair, just without the heat damage.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Prof. I feel like I'm still learning stuff during this stream because I couldn't remember off the top of my head exactly how much damage Mama Turtle did. I remembered, obviously that the key hunters do 50 to the gravity suit, so obviously 200 power, but I forgot that she also hits for that much. By the way, the grappling beam, honestly, guys, I don't want to go on a long tangent about every single item in this game, but that's part of the fun of Super Metroid. I really, truly, the grapple beam is one of the single most important items in this run, and it's not just for the Meridia section. Even the lower Norfair section would be significantly more difficult if you could not use the grapple beam to farm pre-Ridley. I actually think the pre-Ridley room is one of the single most critical difficult rooms in this entire run.
Yep.
Maybe not difficult in terms of, it's not that the input complexity is crazy, it's just that you really need to not make mistakes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, optimizing that room with all of the different farms that you need to get to pick up the amount of power bombs, but then also, properly using that grapple beam to farm those bugs. It's not trivial, as Kit pointed out, and it's a good question. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to pull off an RBO run without using grapple in Lower Norfair. I have a hard time imagining how easily you'd be able to do that. I mean, maybe it would just take a lot longer, but optimizing bug farms with just beam alone is really tricky. Grapple is just such an incredibly powerful tool in so many different portions of this run.
Yes, and part of the reason that you hear, Kev and myself and Professor School saying things like, hey, this room is really difficult, the reason we know that is because we've died in it like 50 times.
It's true. There's nothing like that firsthand experience.
Right.
I mean, Kip, I'm sure you can speak to this. You've got a top 5 time in RBO and a bunch of other categories. So, experience goes a long way in teaching you some stuff. You can prepare as much as you want, but inevitably you're going to get into a situation that you haven't experienced before, and you're going to get smacked down on your face. And that's going to be the mistake that teaches you how to how to adjust to that again in the future. At least for me, that's been the case.
Professor, I could not possibly agree more. And just as a small tangent, I kind of feel like that's true in all of Super Metroid in all aspects. Even in Randomizer, which is not a core category, but one thing that I really like is that RBO has a lot of tech in it that shows up that's very critical in randomizers, and I'm a big fan of the idea, like, the only way for you to know nuanced situations is to experience them and basically fail, right?
Yep.
And so you kind of have to go through that to continue to get better. But yeah, we're going to be heading back up here to Green Brinstar shortly to collect some more items, as well as I believe we might even revisit the surface and whatnot. So this is one of my favorite parts of any RBO run, because even though you're not in danger, I just really like revisiting this portion of the map and kind of getting all these items. I've always found it very fun.
I actually really enjoy the item collection part. It's very much like Hundo, and Hundo is one of my main categories. So I really enjoy this section. I'm just going to show off the utility of the grappling beam right here. I got a save coming up, but I like to farm here. And to be honest, that was my best wave to this area that I've had in quite a while. I'm pretty happy with my movement right now.
Yeah, looking good. I really like this grapple tech too, man. Very cool.
I don't know that I've ever farmed in Hellway with grapple. That's awesome.
Listen, I'm not even kidding, Kev. I'm gonna use this tech and randomizer at some point. Like, I never thought to use grapple in that room. That's very smart.
Do you know why I'm using grapple in that room? I was in a Nintendo Power % run in the multi-extension category tournament, and Glove chastised me for not using the grapple beam when I farmed there after X-Ray in that category, because I was really low on health. He's like, look, he's not even using the best beam to farm here. I didn't get a good charge there. So
that'll do it.
So thank you, Glove.
It was a really clean segment, though. You hit that Alpha Spark going through the bottom part leading up to Red Tower. Stuff's looking really, really good. This is a nice little run you're putting together.
Mandatory to kill those side hopper, or I guess, I don't know. Sorry, I call everything the same thing. At some point, if I start forgetting the name of something, I'm just going to call it a frog, because everything in Super Metroid's a frog. But yeah, you can't get back out of that room without killing, I don't know, Professor, you probably remember better than me. Do you have to kill like three? Is it not necessarily the specific creatures themselves, but the number of creatures? And so since those are the only 3 in there, that you have to kill them? Is that how it works?
I think it's all of the enemies in the room need to be taken off screen in order for that flashing door to pop up. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Actually, I heard you could kill 2 side hoppers and a yapping maw. I forget who told me that, but I think that might be significant.
No way. Are you serious?
And the reason I bring it up is because in the room that you never go into, when you enter Lower Norfair, you know, like if you went up to Mickey Mouse missiles, but then you fell down and had to go down there's a gray door down there, and you don't actually have to kill everything to get it to open. You have to kill, I think, 4 things. So I think the game, like, is expecting you to kill a specific number, but obviously in the speed run, like, it's just faster to kill those 3 things and not worry about the yapping maw.
Well, how many yapping maws are in that room? Are there 3? Could you just kill yapping maws and leave that room?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm certain somebody knows the answer. I was a little disappointed I didn't get the spark kill on the side hoppers, but I can make up for it if I get this gauntlet spark.
Yeah, actually, Kev, why don't you tell us what you're about to do? This is a really cool part.
So basically I'm trying to pick up enough E-tanks and supers and just stuff so that I feel comfortable going into Lower Norfair. It'll significantly lower my risk of dying. I used to get all the available E-tanks, including Batoon E-tank, but now I just don't pick up the Batoon E-tank anymore. I'm getting much more comfortable with Lower Norfair, and I just love the cleanup phase. And I'm a big fan of Hundo, and I love Gauntlet Spark. So there's an E-tank here, so keep some strats the same across categories. And I kind of like things like that. And by the way, I'm also going to pick up an extra missile pack here for safety. Usually I only get 35 missiles. But, you know, sometimes if you're not paying attention and down in Lower Norfair, there's nothing that reliably drops missiles to you. And since I'm not going to do GT, I don't need to worry about having more than 30 missiles.
That's a great point. I was actually going to bring that up. I find that really fascinating. Depending on how you approach this run or what items you want to get, sometimes people will go to kill Golden Chorizo to get that super pack before going to Ridley, but in this route, since Kev is going to have the requisite 30 supers to begin with, he's not going to have to do that. So that means that he can basically have as many missiles as he wants. The reason you usually want to stay below 30 or at 30 or below is because and my memory's not going to serve me. I want to say it's 32. There's a certain threshold that where if you have over that many missiles, GT will start to do a different attack that you don't want him to do during that fight. Do you remember what the note is? It 32, Professor?
32.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Do I have a second for a donation?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, please.
So Tim Trollgasm donates $5. It says, only just found out about this event was a thing, but what a fantastic cause. Let's go. And that $5 went to save the animals. Chat, I'm telling you, you need to get on this if you want to do the right thing.
Listen, I just want to go right off the bat and say I really appreciate anyone who's making a donation to this. So I'm not going to chastise anyone's donation incentive. With that said, there is an objectively better choice out there than saving the animals.
I'm going to have to agree with Kip on this one.
Yeah, I'm very glad that the commentary team is united in this front.
Especially when you're, I don't know why I'm waiting for those pirates. Sometimes I just, sometimes you ever get lost in a route because you do so many categories and you're like, why am I doing this? This is not for this category.
All the time, Kevin. Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit that I'm Team Chaos, which means I try to donate to make it more even, to make it more competitive.
Nice.
Well, I guess for today, then we appreciate your effort, considering that I guess Kill is probably behind. But yes, we're heading back down to Green Brinstar once again. We get to enjoy the cool Green Brinstar track once again. Kev is going to be collecting an assortment of items down here. He's going to be getting some extra E-Tanks, some extra Supers, and some extra Power Bombs.
Yeah, and Kip, one of the things that I find really interesting, I only just started running RBO earlier this year, and my grind was interrupted because I really wanted to participate in this GT Classic tournament. But one of the things I started doing was watching pretty much all of the top 20 runs that are on the leaderboards to try to, glean from what's on there and learn from it. And one of the things that's really blown my mind, which is fascinating, and I'm actually preparing a document that I'm going to share with the community when I'm finished with it. But I went through the top 20 runs, and I wanted to see what the loadouts were for ballistics, missiles, ammo, power bombs, and health, to see what everyone was doing in order to get to that Ridley fight. And it really, really surprised me how many different setups people have to get to that point in the run. This is the most wild one. I mean, obviously everyone who's familiar with the category has seen, the 20 super single Norfair runs that Zenny, Zost, and Aussie are doing. And I think you just started getting into some single Norfair, if I'm not mistaken, towards the end of your last grind. But if you go back 5, 6, 7, 8 years, like Stravaris, for example, who still has a top 10 time with a 108, going in with 8 tanks, 40 missiles, and 20 supers, and just loads Ridley full of missiles instead of coming with supers. And I just thought that was incredible. There's so many different ways to slice this category, and I think that is just such an incredible. It adds a real dynamism to the category, both in terms of top level of skill, but also making the category more accessible to people who want to start off with it.
That's a good point, Professor. I also we could actually talk about your overall point here for a long time. I think it's one of the coolest aspects about Super Metroid speedrunning. And I mean this very sincerely. It's the thing that keeps me engaged with the game. Yes, there is probably going to be a sort of fastest method, fastest collection, et cetera, right? But a lot of these categories, unless your primary motivation is I'm explicitly going for the world record, right? If your sort of motivation is not exclusively that, then there are so many ways for you to build your own run based on the strats you want to run, the amount of safety you want to have, and literally even the amount of ammo you pick up in this category translates into a slightly different Ridley fight. So there's just so many puzzle pieces that you can put together to build your run the way that you want to. And I think RBO might actually, of the 4 kind of, core main quote-unquote categories, it's got the most, creativity sort of baked in by default.
I've got another quick donation, hopefully.
Have at it.
I'm gonna try not to get emotional reading this. No Reset Speedrun donates $100 from the whole crew
Let's
at
go.
No Reset. Good game, well played to all runners, and we want to tip our hat to our fellow marathon organizers. These events are a lot of work to put together, and this one has been fantastic. Keep it up, and big shout outs to Sinith for his continuous support towards No Reset. Here's to more events. Shoku, I mean, everyone over there, you all are awesome. I can't wait to keep working with you all.
Love the No Reset guys. Big fans of what they're doing. They run excellent events. I've actually participated in a few, and it's always great to catch back up with them. And yeah, that's an awesome donation. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, and I'll echo those sentiments too. I've been fortunate enough to be both a commentator and a runner as a part of some of these marathon runs, and it is no joke putting these things together. It is herding cats, it is pulling teeth, it's making sure everything works, it's keeping people calm when tech stuff doesn't quite shake out at first. And there's a lot to go into it, and it's of course also for an incredible cause. This is a great organization, and I'm glad that we could all be a part of this together. So I just wanted to echo those sentiments for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat. Like, you're getting to play video games that you love, you get to talk about them, you get to do cool speed tech, and you get to raise money for good causes. I mean, like, it's tough to beat.
Agreed. I'd say that was a pretty nice item collection phase for me. I feel really good about how that went.
Kev, I have bad news for you.
What's that?
I think you forgot to pick up the X-ray.
Oh man, should we go back?
How are you going to microwave Ridley now?
Oh yes, I'm really excited I got this quick entry. This is one of the most improved parts of my RBO run recently, is my consistency with that strat right there. So that was really cool. If anybody wants to explain that little bit of tech.
Yeah, Kip, why don't you go ahead and do that, because that's like one of my favorite pieces of movement in the entire Metroid game. The fact that you can actually do that, I guess we'll call it a gravity jump. Maybe you've got a little bit more experience in this category than I do. You want to talk about specifically what the viewers just saw there? Yeah,
so basically, we've kind of been talking about this in the context of it just being sort of a challenge run, but whenever you're going for a PB, obviously time is a very big factor and things like that, right? The strat that Kev was able to pull off entering Main Street here from the tube is actually incredibly important for time, like probably 30 seconds or more. What he was able to do is maintain that jump, I guess, physics through the tube, and then he was able to freeze a fish before he started falling, and that allowed him to immediately start his climb up the rest of that room. If he hadn't hit it, he would have had to done like a way different setup. Probably, I think the way I used to do it if I failed was I had to like super the wall and have the crab fall and all that jazz.
You'll see it later.
Yeah, we will see it since it's double Meridia, but you can do a spring ball jump in here. It's just that in this category, we're not going to have spring ball because we don't have a suit and it's way far away. But this is, as we mentioned earlier, this section is some extra collection. We're actually going to be getting, correct me if I'm wrong, Kev, because it's been a while, but you're going to be getting 10 super packs down here. Do you get 15 down here or 10?
You get 10, so I just picked up the crab supers, and we're going to get these watering hole supers. And just the way I like to route it, I like to do Mama Turtle last on my way out, and it kind of routes pretty linearly, because it's hard to go back up and get the crab supers later, so I like to do those first. So we'll do that. We'll duck out of Meridia, and then we'll be heating up.
But yeah, I love, the some of the... like the top times will not enter Meridia until after Lower Norfair, but I love seeing these early Meridia runs because you get a nice showcase of the possible tech of Superman. That sequence right there where Kev froze the crab multiple times, let it unfreeze, and then had it continue up the wall to use it to climb up there is really, really cool.
Yeah, and turns out you don't really get to see it as much in the top times, like Kip pointed out. Where it's really featured is in a lot of the low percent categories where you're coming into Meridia with way fewer items. Kev, I was really waiting for you to pull out your modified controller hardware there and do some LR jumps instead of waiting for that crab.
I'll leave that to King of the Hill. He can take it.
But yeah, this is I don't know. I find this movement, suitless movement in Meridia to be just really, really beautiful. It's something that I really enjoy practicing. All the movement through Main Street, through Everest, down here in the watering hole. I think that this is it's really fun to be able to show some of this off.
Yeah, Kev is, to be more analytical for a moment, Kev is really moving very smoothly through these rooms. These are not easy rooms to get through. There's a lot of danger. I mean, you can run into all kinds of different creatures, etc. But he's doing a great job, and I believe the next and sort of last into Meridia is going back down to Mama Turtle, who, as Professor pointed out earlier, if you accidentally mismanage the way that you get her to wake up and move around the room, she can hit you for a lot of damage. But we're gonna
not
get
just
down
Mama
here.
Turtle. These pink pirates are deadly.
That's true. But we're gonna get down here and try to get another E-tank, and it's hard to explain this. Every super missile pack and every energy tank in RBO, every extra one that you get beyond, I guess, like the bare minimum, has an exponential impact on safety. You can get away with a lot more with each subsequent energy tank, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's really what this run comes down to at the highest levels, is really just sacrificing your safety and your sanity for time. But that is not trivial. And even at the top level, when you start shedding those items, the volatility continues to increase, the risk continues to increase, and I think just the concept of even trying to grind RBO at any level, particularly the highest, can just be maddening, because you are intentionally putting yourself in the most difficult situation possible by dropping these safeties. And we actually saw that play out in our Super Metroid Marathon earlier. The runner that actually ended up succeeding for their team, I think it was actually Bressingham on your team, Kit, ended up going with a slightly safer route, picking up, dipping into Meridia the second time, picking up extra supers, remembering that correctly?
Yeah, RBO was a big difference maker. I think Bressingham was on my team.
Yeah, I think he was, but I mean, you're bringing up a great point, Professor School. When you're trying to just complete the run, sometimes a little bit of extra time on the front end can actually be faster, because if you end up dying a bunch of times, then you lose all that time back. But one thing I want to point out before Kev gets back to his hell running here is the exit out of Mama Turtle was really nice and smooth. It's actually, in my opinion, very difficult. You have to be very precise to jump and avoid that pirate. Like, you have to land on that platform where the pirate is and then jump over him again, and you don't have a ton of space. So Kev did a nice job of getting out of there without getting hit. And we're getting warmed up here for the most exciting part of this whole run.
Warmed up. Is that pun intended there, Kit?
Oh, I didn't realize that I did it.
This is where the nerves start to fire. Usually I am pretty calm. And then Lava Dive, even though I've done it a billion times in several categories, randos, you name it, it's in this category it's especially scary because of this room beforehand, and then it's just, there's really no rest from this point on until you get to, like, oh geez, all right, I'm gonna have to go back. Sometimes this room with the lag is extremely difficult to navigate.
Yes, this actually, this is a very difficult room. I'm laughing because I remember one of the first significant PBs I had in this category. I had to reset this particular room, I think, 3 times, and that was in my comment on Dear Tier about it. But
Unlock, what are you gonna do? If this is the hardest time I have in the run today, I'll be very happy about it.
this room does lag a good bit when you're trying to get across. but it's one of those situations where Kev really doesn't have a choice. Like once he falls in, especially twice, he pretty much has to turn around and refill because he has to have enough energy to do the lava dive. And Professor School, I'm gonna let you do the honors of explaining the epicness of this tech here.
Yeah, this is I don't know, this is the one thing that as a kid playing this game, I tried to sequence break this room more than any other room. I'm not sure that I ever actually succeeded. So the fact that people pull this off in the regular is pretty incredible. But this is our lava dive here. You're going to see Kev draining an incredible amount of damage. It's heat damage, it's acid damage, and pulling up through these Namahes that are shooting flames at you and get these wall jumps off in order to essentially get yourself up and through this room. Kev, unfortunately, taking a death there, but we have our safety save, so no worries whatsoever. Yeah, I'm just so blown away that all these different categories that use lava dive, that this is even possible, and that people can get it, so consistent in their runs.
And it's super stressful because you're already taking regular heat damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you're willingly jumping into lava, which will even do damage to various suit. The gravity suit's the only suit that will protect you from that lava, which we do need to point out, because we'll see this in the future. There is actually a difference in this game between lava and acid. This is the lava, the more bright orange, but the more, I guess, maybe yellowish looking liquid that comes up in amphitheater, for example. That'll be acid. So constantly taking damage. I mean, if you watch his energy during that lava dive, he's only in the room, a pretty short amount of time overall, but his energy gets completely depleted.
Yeah, I had some problem. I just couldn't get a spin jump in there, and for some reason in this category, spin jumping is the most necessary and impossible thing to do sometimes. Come on.
Well, yeah, I think it's even Behemoth who really got one of those early any % world records by really working on his spin jump control. So that's really, really important.
Way more trouble than it should have been. But yeah, to put that in perspective, I don't even save in GT Classic with 2 tanks in Varia suit, and here I barely made it out with 1 billion tanks, and it's monk ass. It's tough.
Hey,
yeah, look at that 73 energy coming into the save. Sorry, Kip, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. The cool thing is you're still going to be taking damage. For those of you that have never seen this, he's technically taking damage the entire elevator ride, but that auto reserve, it will not kick until he gets control back of Samus. So like he's just sitting at 0 basically right now, and then he's gonna get that auto refill, and he's gonna have just enough time to lay that power bomb and get that crystal flash. So here's our first crystal flash.
I think it's 130 energy. If you get on the elevator with more than that, you'll actually still have some energy left, but it's a pretty substantial amount. It's more than a tank that you lose.
But not too bad.
Oh, you did the rare, completely shoot it through the...
Oh, it's not rare for me. I do that all the time. It's been the bane of my GT Classic. I don't know why. Something about my setup.
I always get a kick out of when that happens. It's almost like you were too good, right? Like you fired all the way through. But no, the one other thing that I really like about this category is, the screw attack. And I feel like this is true for like almost every every Metroid game. The screw attack is just absurdly overpowered, right? Just run, jump into things and kill everything just about, right? But if you did not have it in this run, I'm not saying it would be literally impossible, but for most people it would, right? Like it's so crazy important to this category. So this is going to make his ability to manage these really dangerous creatures much better.
This is the scariest section of the game for me. Worst room in the game. This whole part is terrifying for me every time. Amphitheater's the real worst room in the game.
Yeah, Professor School, how about let's do a quick experiment? Why don't we just let Kev do his thing for a minute here and let the crowd enjoy the craziness?
Sure, let's do it. Good tunes down here, too.
Relief.
So as you guys saw, that's one of the most exhilarating feelings you're gonna feel doing any kind of Super Metroid speedrunning.
That's the best I've ever done it.
That was
far.
excellent. Yeah, well done.
Well, with the congratulations on that, I got a good donation for us.
All right.
Happy by 3 donates $5. It says, we're doing puns. I must say I'm impressed on how talented these runners are. I hope this run is smooth and around and aren't, but spelled A-R-A-N. Enemy doesn't ruin everything. I wish we had
Nice. That was great.
The strong pun game forgives the sin of donating to save the animals. Well done.
Now, I want to say right here, this part right here is like every RBO runner's like purgatory. You're going to spend so much time going back and forth, dying here, and then resetting at that room. I hate those Tuskegas. But this is basically the absolute reason why RBO is not only amazing, but super hard. What? I don't know why that pirate didn't die. I'm gonna be taking it like, ooh, look at those supers, damn. That's awesome. I'm gonna be taking this pretty slow.
Yeah, Kev is getting set up here for the Ridley fight, which will be coming up. He's going to attempt to unload 30 supers into Ridley, which is exactly enough. Ridley supers do 600 damage to Ridley each, and Ridley has 18,000 health energy. I guess we should call it energy for Samus, but maybe health for the creatures.
Right.
And here's that grapple tech we were talking about. You can see just how quickly that grapple beam allows Kev to farm up as necessary here, and we'll see a little bit more of it after this Crystal Flash.
Jeez, my grapple beam doesn't want to pick things up. This is the hand cramp section of the game. Took a while to actually get my endurance capable to farm comfortably. I don't know why my grapple is just...
Yeah, you know, Kev actually raises a good point. I'm pretty sure we've got some excellent custom names for a lot of these different rooms. Some of them are named after people based on unfortunate happenstance and runs. Some of them are named after, you know, what the room looks like. I'm pretty sure this room is just called Pre-Ridley Farm Room, which is pretty boring. Maybe Carpal Tunnel might be a better name for this room.
That's just showing Ridley his proper respect, you know.
That's true. That's true. Ridley deserves it. Certainly in this category.
Unfortunately, I took a hit by Ridley, so I really don't think I'm going to be able to survive this fight. But we might be good, unless we missed a super. Oh my god, how on earth? Dude, lit. Sorry for that almost cuss.
Look at this. Ridley just eating super damage here. Kev unloading one after the other, not missing on a single one. and Ridley
Give it up.
swooped in for the pickup. You know, Ridley can be a real jerk sometimes, not picking up Samus and that tail swipe getting her. Look at that. GG. Nicely done, Kev. Grabbing those without even popping off the reserves. Incredible.
That was
Holy
awesome.
crap. I'm shaking right now. That was amazing.
So at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, it's not even close to being over. We are not even close yet to being done with the danger. Kev, look at his ammo. He's going to need to, I guess, farm up enough to get one more Crystal Flash in. So he's going to stop and try to get some extra power bombs and some supers. So
Not one super.
He can't really leave this room until he gets back to at least 10.
Yeah, I know some people will farm Metal Pirates, but I'll never leave this room with less than 8 because sometimes the Metal Pirates can be really stingy and just drop big health, so this is usually the safer play.
And I love the utility of grapple farming, especially for that. And we've got a good power bomb. We've got really good counts everywhere right now.
Yeah, everything looking really, really solid right now. These rooms are not trivial. Even with Screw Attack, man, you know, you drop an input or you go a little early on one of these runs and you don't get into spin, and those holds do just an absolute truckload of damage, plus you're taking the heat damage. I mean, it just does not stop when you're down here in Lower Norfair.
Holtz, you mean the Plowers?
The flowers, yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't know what they were called when I first started playing this game, and I knew that the strat was called Powerhouse, and I just thought that the strat was named after the creatures.
I love it. Oh, damn, are you serious?
That was a beautiful speedball, by the way.
Well, thank you. I just am almost critical. That was dumb. All right, well, we're going to just Crystal Flash pretty much right here. I actually have only been hit by that guy once. That was a little frustrating.
Oh yeah, that's unfortunate. Just seeing that here on our screen now. But you know what? Making it back to the save, we are only going to see Ridley the one time in this run. That's excellent.
By the way, this is why you never save here, just in case anybody didn't know that.
I always wonder, I'm like, is one of the other low percent ice guys going to save on the way out from Ridley? I hope not, because it's so difficult to get around that guy.
Oh, jeez, these guys have been trolling me. So usually I make it to the top of the fire fleet room here, and then I have to do like math. You know, the flames do 60 damage, the rocks do 40 damage, and then I usually heck it up. But I never die there. But we're gonna get out of here pretty safe. The next major volatility point is going to be Coliseum, but Batun to a small degree, but Coliseum followed by what do you call it, Dragon, which I have been on record saying the Dragon fight is free in this category, and which people like mock me because most people say that there's no way it's free, but for me, that's my best boss fight in the game. So we know now that I said that it's going to take 5 tries.
No, it's great, man. All right.
Yeah, Pops. My good buddy Pops. Papa Schmo is actually one of the fellas that got me into not only streaming, but GT Classic and a variety of randos and co-op stuff. So a good buddy of mine. I'm really happy to have him here in chat.
Yeah, Papa
I haven't really been
stay
looking at
excellent.
chat. Stay excellent, yeah. So we had the pleasure of running against Kip and Rumble recently in the multi-world tournament. That was just loads of fun.
I also like that he said the Lower Norfair part was fire.
You know what? I didn't even catch that. I'm so keyed in. Like I'm actually like, how did I not die to Ridley and then I got wasted by a key hunter on the escape? That's just hilarious to me. But we're done. We're done with the hell runs. We're gonna farm some power bombs here. I'm gonna play it a little safely. Usually with 11, I would just go straight into Meridia right now. But in case Dragon is feeling swoopy, I want to make sure I have enough power bombs so that I can, lay power. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. It's just important that I have power bombs right now. And I want over 20 supers for Batoon and Dragon.
That's a great point. Yeah, it's kind of easy to think, oh, I'm at a lower Norfair, I'm done. I can go straight to Meridia, but you really do have to take some time to sit here and farm and get your ammo correct. But I need to correct one small thing that Chabo said in the chat. Some people do call those Violas fuzzies, but the preferred name is fuzzy butt. I call them fuzzy butts. That's a technical term.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the manual that comes with the
right.
game.
So now we're going to be doing that strat that Kip had alluded to earlier. This is what you would do if you didn't get the quick entry into Meridia, and it's what you have to do because the tube doesn't respawn once you break it. So if you re-enter Meridia, you have to go here and use a little creativity. I feel like this is more or less would be intended if they intended you to get here suitless, this setup.
Oh, I thought as intended was to get a spike suit leaving Lower Norfair and then use it to climb Main Street really fast. That's what I do.
Only if you're or only if you know how to get a spike suit. That strat, I like what Zoa says. That's the myth suit.
Spike suit's free, dude.
It's free as the dragon fight I'm about to do for sure.
Exactly.
I think even with the deaths so far it's a run I'd be pretty happy with casually.
Oh, it's going really well.
Whoops.
Yeah, and even the deaths haven't been that costly. Like, I mean, you got dive bombed by the was it Space Pirate Key Hunter? Oh my gosh, my brain is failing me here. Coming out. Dude,
I played a rando this morning with I had Varia's suit and a billion supers going into Ridley, and I died with 1 energy left. It's a clip you can see. And I was more successful in my RBO run suitless than I was in my rando with the suit earlier today. I find that hilarious.
You did it when it counted, Kev. That's what's important.
I like to imagine, since we speedrun and that means we do resets and we, somebody's speedrunning Super Metroid every day, right? I like to imagine that Samus and the enemies are all working for the same company. And so on days where some other creature kills Samus instead of one of the big bosses, I imagine that they go to like the boss lounge, and they're like having their coffee and they're like bragging about how much stronger they are than Ridley or something. So that key hunter gets to have his day in the sun.
That's right.
Dude, I love that. The first time I heard you allude to an enemy break room, I was rolling on the floor, and I'm so glad you brought that up right now. So I took a safety save right there. I don't need it. I don't really want it, but sometimes Coliseum, like if you get a bad, let's say you miss a jump input or you miss your grapple, the temptation to turn around in the sand is like so strong. So surviving there goes against your every instinct. So in a marathon run, really important to take a safety save there because, look at my energy. Batoon could take me out in just a couple hits, and his hits can chain. And then Coliseum, you land in that sand, more or less, you're likely not getting out.
Excellent point. And those grapple jumps are one of the really, quick story. The first time I saw an RBO run, it was Zost, and I had not seen it before. And the first time I saw a grapple jump like that, I literally laughed because I thought it was so ridiculous.
Raises an interesting question, Kip, talking about some of these creatures that hit for so much damage. I'm trying to think of the weakest enemy that I've ever died to in Super Metroid. I have to say it's probably the Rippers right after GGG. Like if you go down there in like the GT Classic and you're doing like either bootless dive or like a 1-tank high jump boots dive, and you're sitting on like 10 energy, and all of a sudden you get hit by 1 or 2 Rippers. I think that's probably the weakest thing I've ever died to in this game. What do you think?
Well, that is probably by the numbers the weakest. But I'll see if I can try to one better you here, even though it's not a competition. Have you ever died to the boss door in Torian?
Oh God.
No, have you? Is this real?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
If you do not do your strats correctly in low percent, because you're supposed to go kill it with one energy after the baby drain.
Oh, that's right.
If you don't do it correctly, you can get sniped. So.
Goodness gracious.
But no, I agree. To be honest with you, we could probably think about every creature in this game, and somebody's probably died to it at some point.
Yeah, someone actually suggested the other day a category, Die to the Geemer RTA, where you go to the orange Geemer that's that appears in the outside area for wrecked ship, and to essentially X-ray climb up to it and then sit there and let it kill you.
Yeah. Look at. I don't know. I like to make parallel comparisons between games. That climb that Kev did in the. To be honest, what do we call that room? It's the pre-climb room or the pre-climb room? Yeah, the pre-happy. The climb that he did reminds me of like going up those creatures in Super Mario Brothers 2 on the vines.
Oh yeah.
It was a really good job. He was letting them get to a certain point before freezing them, and then using them to jump off of to get through the water, and then get into the air physics using the grapple beam. So, great job. This Coliseum room is one of the most. I mean, it really is dangerous, as Kev already pointed out, because if you make an accidental mistake and land in that sand, you can get stuck. So really great job getting through there, and now we're about to see his excellent and really unique Dragon fight. I'll let one of you gentlemen describe what we're about to see, because it's very complicated.
I'll let Prop so I can concentrate a little bit.
Yeah, we'll let Kev focus here. This is definitely one of the more interesting pieces of tech. What you really need to do here is not just do the simple grapple kill of Dragon, but what you really want to be able to do is figure out how you're going to get back out of here. And I don't know if we really need to go into sort of all the technical details of, how Crystal Flash is interrupted and how that generates blue suits and spike suits and all the rest of it. But essentially the point is, with the loadout that Kev has right now, with the item set that he has, he can't just get out of Dragon's room, and then the room right before this. It needs to do some funny stuff here. So you're going to see Kev is actually generating a Crystal Flash here, and is going to get grabbed by Dragon. And what that actually does is that's going to allow Kev to store a Flash suit, which is essentially what we call the ability to Shine Spark. And it's a combination of some interesting things. Kev's not only going to have to grapple jump out of here, which we'll see in a little bit, but then use a stored Shine Spark in order to escape from the Precious Room, which is the one right after that. It's some pretty involved technique. I don't know how much in the weeds we want to get here, Kip, on that, but that's the basic idea.
No, you did a great job.
I told you, this fight's so free, I finished it before Professor could even stop talking about it.
Yeah, and I think, to me, just sort of, I guess, casually, the thing I find the most interesting about this fight is when you're trying to learn how to complete your very first RBO run, usually the Lower Norfair and Ridley part might not actually be the craziest part that's difficult to figure out. A lot of times it's this fight and how to, manage it. And I had to have a tremendous amount of help from people to figure out how to do all the stuff. So Kev did a really good job. He's picked up a space jump, and he's going to be getting out of here with some more grapple jumps.
So I do want to point out that I got right side goo. I was trying to beat Kip's 18 in a row for Dragon swoops, but Dragon was slightly more merciful for me. But I did get right side goo, and I want to point that out because for most runners, they hate right side goo. For me in particular, that's my preferred side to get grabbed. It's a little bit quicker grapple, but a lot of runners find that a little more tricky. But my history with Dragon is I hated this fight so much, and it was the only thing stopping me from completing RBO was the Dragon fight and the grapple escape. I got a little help from Farfalu on the grapple escape, And not only that, but I watched Shiny Zenny's and Fusta's tutorial, and a combination of all of that helped me be successful there. And last thing I'll mention before I let you all talk again is I did do the energy refill safety there just because it's a marathon, not because I needed it.
Yeah, we know you can do it without it, but it's a great decision there to take that. I mean, this is really it, folks. This is all of the hardest stuff of this run is behind us now, and especially with that energy refill, any concerns about, a suitless Phantoon death are really off the table. So just a huge GG's to Kev for pulling off really all of the hardest tech with almost no issue whatsoever. I mean, we had a couple short resets, but this is just shaped out to be an excellent showcase run of a wonderful category.
It is always a relief when you get this deep into it and you can, comparatively speaking, cruise through most of the other sections. But we're still seeing some cool tech because, number one, the space jump, Prof might be able to explain this better, but you basically get like a reset on your spin jump, like your space jump when you go in and out of the water. And so he was able to get to the top of that water line and then hit a space jump to get him above it, and then he was able to space jump out of the water, which is really cool. But also, you don't normally have screw attack in Meridia. Obviously, we went to Lower Norfair first, so it opens up some opportunities to utilize it, especially against these pirates in the plasma room.
Yeah, the pirates and the pancakes too. These pancakes can absolutely hit again for a truck. I think they're actually called chutes. But having screw attack here just makes all of this so much more free. Taking this rarely traveled pathway to the backside of Meridia and then up to wrecked ship. I will say, someone in chat pointed this out. I think it was Papa Schmo. He beat me to it. Is Kip was talking about all of the difficult tech and movement that you have to actually do here in Meridia, and I think my strategy and Kev's were the same on this. We actually ran a different boss order called North Korea percent, which is another really fun category, and you don't have to do any of the suitless Lower Norfair, but you do get to learn all of the incredible Meridia tech, and it's a little bit more forgiving as a category. So a lot of times I would recommend that as sort of an entryway for people who want to get into reverse boss order running.
I would agree with. Also, you take a look at this run right here, and you have to do these rooms without screw attack in North Korea. So even though RBO is the harder of the two categories, in North Korea percent, the Meridia is actually harder than the RBO Meridia.
I agree. You're doing it on way fewer tanks too. You're coming in with really, really minimal health and ammo, just enough to sort of get by. I think I run it with 4 tanks, so I agree. RBO definitely more challenging overall, but the Meridia in that category is no joke.
That is really unique, and that's a good point. And now I would also like to point out what I find to be maybe the single most unique part of this category is actually coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, getting a 2-round Phantoon in this game is not an easy thing to do. But RBO, of all of the normal categories, it has the highest likelihood and easiest potential method of getting a 2-round than any of the other categories, because you get to walk into this fight with the full beam combination, which means that you can basically get a 2-round using 2 charge shots and 7 missiles. So if you get either 3 or 4 in on the first round of missiles and then a regular charge shot and then do the same thing on the second round, I'm not saying you will get a 2-round every single time, but the frequency with which you get it is much, much higher than the other methods. So it's RBO, you get all this scary, crazy Ridley fight, you get a scary, crazy Dragon fight, and then you get a way easier Phantoon fight.
Yeah, it's not quite as free as X-Ray for sure, but yeah, it's easy to come in here with that 900 damage for that fully charged beam combo and just really lay waste to Phantoon very quickly.
This is one of those few runs like GT Classic that the further you get in the run, the easier the run actually gets. So your stress level goes down the further you get through the run, which is really a very unique feature of this run. I missed the missile. You might still be able to round, we'll see.
Yeah, you've got a little leeway. You can at least miss the 1 missile here on Phantoon. You do have to count, though. I've definitely had a situation where I've missed too many. I've gotten flame lane badly, and I've actually needed to switch on the fly to a stutter Doppler in order to finish Fantune off.
Oh,
here.
yeah. That left slow on the second and subsequent rounds is a really terrible pattern. You are very high likelihood of getting flame lamed, and that's exactly what happened.
It's the absolute worst, Kip. I could not agree with you more. I absolutely hate that the way that the flame distribution happens there. You'll see a lot of runners actually shoot the flames and then jump to try to get a missile in, because it is just so likely to get just, your missiles eaten by those flames. It's really frustrating. I hate that.
It's frustrating and it stinks, but the flip side is, if you were going to, in a speedrun scenario where you're doing hundreds of runs, if you were going to have certain patterns be a little easier than others, I'm glad the faster patterns are a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm. And there we go. We got that next boss down. We have one left in our RDPK reverse boss order. It's just Kraid left at this point, and then we're off to Turian. We got an incredible performance here from Kevnastics. We're having a lot of fun with this RBO. We get to see some cool tech here, an item loadout and a set of movement items that you don't normally get to see, except in a few rare categories and randomizer. There's some really, really fun tech that Kev can show off here, having both space jump and screw attack, leaving wreck ship.
And by the way, Kip, I want to mention to you, I'm not going to do this just because you enjoy doing this, but I recently switched over from going back up Red Tower after killing Kraid to going through Green Bryn, just because I just like it way better for many reasons.
You get to hear the musical track one last time, and it's just a fun thing to do, because you don't normally go that way through the rooms with that gear. So I'm excited to see that too.
Well, I got some good news for you SM runners.
Get it.
Cout is coming in with $20.
Thank you everybody who's donated. Thank you everybody who's watching. We had a lot of technical difficulties to start with, simply because my computer is terrible, but we got it working. I'm playing a run that I'm pretty proud of and got some buds hanging here. This has been a blast, so thank you all.
Yeah, this run has been very, very, very smooth. RBO is never easy, even just by yourself with nobody watching. But to do it in a scenario where you are in a charity, this has gone incredibly smooth.
Too fast there.
Look at that beautiful mini Kraid room there. Love to see it. With the plasma, the space jump, the screw attack. It's excellent. I love it.
Kraid's my arch nemesis. What a jerk. Got him. I'm going to be taking the last safety of the run. I'm getting Varia's suit because I have been traumatized. I lost 2 123 paces dying at Mother Brain, where the Varia suit would have saved me. So ever since then, I pick it up. It's a little extra time, but the amount of safety it provides is insane compared to suitless.
There we go. All 4 bosses down. Didn't even have to take Kraid to prom. We are on our way to Turian, folks, and this is going to be it. G4 in Turian. We are almost through this thing. Incredible performance by Kev, and just a little bit of time left to support this good cause and get those donations in. I don't know. I'm leaning heavy in favor of one of these 2 categories for where I want these donations to go. Hoping to see a little bit more on one column than the other.
Yeah, so we're going to close the bid war at a certain point, and then we'll announce the results as tradition, so get those donations in as quickly as possible if you want one or the other category to win.
Alright, so I do a strat, and I hope I pull it off. Right here, I call this the swag ball. Got it.
Alright, Anonymous coming in with $10, no comment, but that went to save the frames.
And the grapple jump for hockey.
An anonymous donation and a very silent co-commentator. I find that very, very interesting.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Trust me, if it were me, I would take credit for it. But some other benefactor dropped that one in.
Sorry, Prof. No free in the Decora today.
That's okay. I got the dream of a lifetime today. Shiny Zenny was playing Free the Decora RTA today a little bit at the end of his stream.
Awesome. Ooh.
Demonstrably the best RTA category for the extension category boards.
I think it's the most volatile RTA. It's one of the more exciting RTA categories. I love it, even though I'm not very good at it. Got the space jump. I'm feeling really good about this run.
Kip, I'll have to come into your stream and pester you to run Free the Decora RTA at some point.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I think I tried it like once or twice, but I feel like the first time I did it, it didn't count because it got stuck in the thing or whatever.
Oh yeah, it actually needs to be free, totally free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have $20 from Kip that says save the frames. Of course, that went to save the frames.
It's funny, Professor. I was literally trying to type in my credit card number when you said earlier that you thought the anonymous donation was me. I was like, I don't think mine's gone through quite yet.
Okay, so I was on to something though when I heard you. I had a feeling something was going on there because you went quiet for a little bit.
You were definitely on to something. Real quick, I do want to point out two things that I like about the G4 room. Number one, sometimes people get tricky about, well, how do we know that the devs, why is this reverse boss order? How do we know the devs intended for Kraid and Phantoon and Dragon and Ridley to be the order? I feel like they're sending us a good signal by having, no matter what order you kill them in, their gems disappear in that order. And then secondly, I've always found it fascinating that each one has a color that is somewhat associated with their like traditional four fiends like you would see in Final Fantasy. Like Kraid is green, he's the one that's most like earth. Phantoon is yellow, which is most like air. Blue is most like water, that's Dragon, and red is fire, which is Ridley. I thought that was kind of cool.
So just to make chat aware, the time that Mother Brain 1 goes down is when the poll closes, but we're announcing the results per tradition on Mother Brain 3.
Nice.
Excellent. I will point out here one additional interesting piece of tech is you're down here without gravity, and as a result, falling in this acid makes your movement much slower, and these rooms are already tricky enough as they are, but a lot of the strats that people normally run for these Metroid rooms will often require you to take a dip intentionally, and that is not something that you can do without the benefit of gravity here. So it just complicates things just a little further, as if this run was not already hard enough.
On my screen, we're getting really close here. Just the last couple of rooms. I'm not going to say exactly where, but Mother Brain 1 is right around the corner, so get those donations in before it's too late.
Yeah, grabbed by the baby, but that's okay. Remember to turn right and save those 40 frames.
I'm about 50-50 on baby skip. So I was kind of like, I got a bad jump there, but it's okay. I've got plenty of ammo. I'm just going to crystal flash here, so I don't need to visit the save room. Just for funsies. And I guess I will take a safety save before Mother Brain, although I don't think it's necessary. But this is a marathon after all, and we do want to see the brain die.
Kev, I'm not disappointed that you missed the baby skip, and just in terms of the time. I'm a little disappointed that you made me listen to those sad sounds, though, that the baby makes.
That's true.
Of all the rooms to do your one last Crystal Flash, it had to be there, and we had to listen to it.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure that was a strategic decision on Kev's part in order to try to give people just a little bit extra time with that baby grabbing Crystal Flash to get in their donations.
Yeah, and that's what the actual Mother Brain save is for, just that you can get in your kill donations.
That's right.
A quick piece of tech. Notice that Kev has taken his screw attack off. That allows him to do the sort of traditional ice Zeb skip. Screw attack, every time you spin jump and screw activates, it resets your iframes, and you need your iframes to be active for that Zeb skip.
Yeah, you beat me to it there, Kip. I was just going to point out the same thing.
Yeah.
Just makes life a little bit easier, right? Just a nice little improvement there. You don't have to worry about anything more complicated.
That's right. But this is great, y'all. We have watched a really great run, and it's come down to the final boss here.
Fortunately, if there was anything not easy about this category, we've gotten it all behind us. This is a simple fight, just 20 fully charged beam shots. We don't have to worry about counting 60 or, goodness gracious, even 200 or 300 charge shots here. This is going to be free, no problem whatsoever.
Yes, the full beam combination is quite powerful in this game. Kev getting in a position, it looks like he took off his various suits so that Mother Brain's Rainbow Beam will do 600 damage instead of 300. Varia actually cuts that number in half.
I actually think I completely skipped the Mother Brain save. I thought about taking it, I talked about taking it, and then I just didn't take it. Okay. Let's not soft lock here on stand-up, right?
Yeah, just don't die or soft lock it in your phone. No pressure.
Not as easy to soft lock here as it is for GT Classic, but
I will say, RBO, we've talked about how dangerous it is. Well, hold on real quick. Strut, let me answer Strut's question. I don't know for sure if what I'm about to say is accurate, but in my general testing, if Samus doesn't have a suit on, if it's just the power suit, every time that I've been in that situation and had enough energy to stand back up, she has basically just gone into the sequence. But at the same time, I've always been low enough to where I didn't have any more than roughly the amount that you're talking about. So I don't actually know exactly what the number is, but it's higher than you would expect it to be when you don't have any suits on.
I think Kev actually knows. Kev, you've rattled this number off to me before. It's somewhere in the low 300s that you can get away with without having to damage down, right?
Barfaloo told me I think it was somewhere around like 332. I don't remember the exact number, but I know it's 3 something. Mm-hmm. So I always just try to make sure I'm, somewhere around 2 and change, just in case. Because this is the only thing I get superstitious about sometimes is Super Metroid.
Yeah, well, anything under 300, you're fine.
As Kev begins his escape, real quick, last thing.
Is it save or kill?
You can die here. I've seen people die in the escape sequence because they don't have gravity suit and get stuck in the acid. So, Kev, be careful, buddy.
I got it. I got lag.
Right.
Are we save or kill, Seneth?
It is save the animals at 591 is the result.
Yeah. All right. Well, this escape is. I'm having some trouble here for some reason. It's probably because I turned screw attack on and I usually don't do that. But anyways, we're going to save the animals, so that gives me a chance to show off one more little bit of swag before the end of the run. And
I think this is tease. What are we getting here? I'm very curious.
One thing I think that is really interesting about Super Metroid is that it takes like 5 minutes to explain a strat that takes like 2 seconds to do. So I feel like we didn't get to talk about everything in this run so far, but thank you all for being here. I really love the comms, and this was just a blast. This couldn't have gone a whole lot better. So here's your save, y'all. Here's my last little bit of swag if I can pull it off. Got it.
Oh, you know, by swag, I thought you meant you were going to taunt the animals, but the Shine Spark out. It's a good second.
Yeah, Shine Spark's nice. If you're going to do it, might as well do it like that.
Absolutely. I was thinking about taunting the animals, but you know what? These fine people have given their money for this wonderful cause, so
That's right.
Give the fans what they want. And time, that is only about 2.5 minutes off of my PB. So look, my PB is deathless, by the way. So without those saves and those deaths, I mean, this was almost as good as I can do.
Yeah, GG, Kev. Congratulations on a fantastic run. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Get your GGs in chat. What a great time we had today. An excellent RBO run, Kev. 2.5 minutes off pace in a marathon. That is absolutely superb. And with all the extra safeties and even a death or two in there, this was just from top to bottom a beautiful showcase of some of the incredible tech that this wonderful game has to offer. And it's been a pleasure being in the booth here with you, Kip. I think this is our first time on comms together. I had a blast. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I did too. It was a lot of fun chatting with you, Professor School, and listening to your explanations and commentary. And Kev, I want to thank you for asking me to join you guys. I had a really, really fun time. And again, I think you did a fantastic job with your run. And I'd also like to thank Steneth and everybody associated with this whole production for putting together a great event. We're always happy that Super Metroid is represented, so thank you very much.
I also want to give a special shout out to my buddy Secret Structures in chat. The whole true reason why I stream Super Metroid, one of my first racing partners, and probably the longest friendship I've had in this in Super Metroid. And everybody I see in the chat, McTimothy, Cow, Chavo, Glove, Ami, Idle Child, Papa Schmo, Firebat. Gosh, I could keep going and going. You've all been very supportive over my, Stralog. Are just so supportive over my last year and a half, almost 2 years now of streaming and racing Super Metroid, and I'm just really happy I found this game, and really happy I found a wonderful community of people that share my passion and are just really great people to talk to and listen to. So this was my favorite marathon run I've done so far. I'm so excited it went this well, and boy, I feel bad now with that 2-hour estimate I gave. I hope you all have something else to do when this is all over.
I will take a second to echo the sentiments there that Kev put out. Obviously, one of the things we wanted to do here was raise some money for charity. We wanted to showcase some excellent tech and a cool game. But if people are at all curious about Super Metroid and speedrunning, the number one thing that I can tell you about this game and speedrunning it is the community that surrounds it, the foundation that we build ourselves upon, are the excellent people that are part of this community. It has been like nothing else that I've experienced in the 2 years that I've been a part of it. And Kev is 100% spot on with that. These people in chat and all the individuals, come over to our Discord and hang out. There are some really, really cool people there, and we do a lot of stuff just like this. I think Kip can probably speak to the same, having been in the community a lot longer than either one of us. It's really just a great place to hang out.
Oh, certainly. Thanks again, everybody. I really enjoyed it, and I guess one of us has to say, Professor School. Do you want to do the closer?
I will. Thank you so much. I'll turn it over after this to Sineth and anyone else who wants to wrap things up. But on behalf of my co-commentator Kip and on behalf of Kev and his incredible performance, we're all very grateful to you, and we will see you all next mission.
Dear Force.
All right, well, with that, thank you everyone for stopping by, but hang out for just a moment. We're going to be doing the end credits next, so stick around for that, please.